Hello, everyone. I am Heather Chesky, and I'm so happy to be coming to you live today. Today's live is going to be a little extra special. As you can see on the screen, I have a special guest with me today who I'll introduce in a minute. But if you're on live, I would just love to go ahead and hear from you. So go ahead and type in the comment section who you are. Basically, I want to give you a quick introduction onto who I am. My name is Heather. Obviously, I am a photographer. I'm a full-time photographer, and I've been running my business pretty successfully, actually, for the last couple of years. And I've also started coaching other photographers who want to, make more income and have more impact with their own photography business. I am a mom of young kids, so my life is crazy. So I'm all about teaching strategies that help you save time because everybody's busy and really just automate your business. So if you are catching this, go ahead and say hey. Let me know where you're from and just a little bit about yourself. I'd love to hear. Today's Facebook Live is going to be extra special. We're going to be talking about hair and makeup artists and actually getting having a successful partnership with one. So you see Kara on the screen here. Kara is my hair and makeup artist. So I'm actually going to allow her to introduce herself, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about, our tips about how to have a successful relationship. So heading over to you, Kara.
Okay, well, thank you, Heather. Thank you for having me today. My name is Kara Gomez. I'm the owner of Best Face Forward Skin, Makeup, and Hair Artists, and I own a team of successful artists that cover Northern Virginia market, Hampton Roads market, down where most people are familiar with Virginia Beach, that Hampton Roads area, and then I also have a team in South Texas. So I have, just as Heather had indicated, she does with photography. I have run our beauty business successfully full-time. I have a young one as well who's 3 months old now, and our business, yeah, right. Lots of great makeup to hide the eye bags. That'd be great. And basically what I've done is I've put together a team successfully that works in partnership with lots of other photographers and vendors, weddings, events, photo shoots, and I coach other artists as well throughout the country. So Heather and I work very synergistically together in the fact that we both operate and think about business in the same way. And I've been working with Heather for the last year and a half.
Yeah, and it's been wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys kind of like how our relationship started. Back in the day when I first started my photography business, I didn't necessarily include hair and makeup with my session. A lot of times I allowed my clients to choose whether or not they wanted to opt into that and whether to have it as an add-in service. And I know a lot of photographers have that same kind of model. If you're one of them, go ahead and let me know. But as the more that I photographed, I would have some clients who knew how to do their hair and makeup really, really well, and it wasn't an issue at all. And then there were other clients who, just didn't know what would look good on camera, didn't know how to do their hair so it would look well. They didn't know what colors looked best on them. And I'm like one of those people. I'm kind of, I'm not so knowledgeable on hair and makeup. That's not my forte. So I had a hard time explaining to them, what would look good for their skin. I, of course, knew what looked good on camera, but of course I couldn't explain it to them in a way that they could understand what would look good for them. So I was struggling and just, how do I get my clients to come to the session completely ready from head to toe and really coming with camera ready makeup? Because as you guys know, cameras pick up everything. They can be very unforgiving. And, we have under eye circles. Sometimes we break out and that just happens when we get stressed or overwhelmed or whatever. And I just wanted to hide the things that, my clients, don't want to remember 20 years down the road when they're looking at a photo of themselves. So I had started working with a couple of different hair and makeup artists. And this was before Kara, and I had some great experiences with them. But one of the things that I kept running into, there was one specific girl that I worked with quite a bit, and she was awesome and amazing. But the scheduling aspect was really, really difficult, where she was working another job. She had her own life going on. So it was one of those things when I would book a session, I couldn't actually book that session until I knew my hair and makeup artist was free. And that just got to be a scheduling nightmare. And it was just added a lot more stress. And that's when I started reaching out and looking into other artists who actually had a team like what Kara has. I love the way Kara set up her business because basically, as she alluded to, she has teams in multiple different areas. We used to have like what, 14, 15 girls on your team? Is that right?
32.
32, but 14 in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, in Northern Virginia, 15.
So it's in Northern Virginia. So basically, as a photographer, knowing that, okay, I can book my session basically, any day of the week, probably not Saturdays during wedding season, but any day of the week, which is what I like. And I know that Kara, I can go to her and she's like one of 15 girls is going to be available. And that to me, that just eases my mind right there. And these are all girls who've been trained by Kara. I know a few of them personally. They do great work. My clients love working with these girls. Kara does a great job training them and kind of like vetting them. And for me, that is just a lot of pressure off of me to, double check with my hair and makeup artist to make sure she's available before I can actually book a session and go back and forth between 3 different people's schedules. I have the confidence that Kara is going to have somebody available for me. And that's one of the things that I really, really love working about with her, aside from the great work that she does. So that's basically how my journey with a hair and makeup artist. And I do want to share too, like I've noticed when I didn't include it in my collection. So now when a senior books with me, it's already included. It's completely complimentary, and I pay Kara the fee that she charges. And that has, one, it allows a better overall experience for my clients because they don't have to worry about hair. They don't have to worry about what to do with makeup. So that's just one less thing they have to stress about. 2, they come to the session already confident. Like, I know when I go get my hair done or when I go get my hair cut, like I'm walking out of the salon and I'm feeling a little bit extra confident because somebody who's a professional did it and I didn't have to. And I just feel a little extra pretty. And so my clients are coming to the session already feeling beautiful and confident and ready to have their picture taken, which can be a little bit nerve-wracking at times. And then 3, like they're falling in love with their pictures so much more because Kara is able to accentuate the features that are unique and beautiful to them and then hide the things that they don't really want to be seen. So I've noticed, they fall in love with their pictures more, they want to buy more, and that increases my sale. So that's great for me. And then also, another tip, like I am editing way, way less. I know so many photographers who spend hours and hours editing after a session. I can get a session done in a matter of minutes. Like it does not take me any time as long as my lighting is good. And Kara, I know she has the face and the hair down. I don't have to, waste hours and hours editing. I can spend time, working more with my clients or being with my family, which is, what I'd rather be doing instead of being behind a computer. So working with a professional hair and makeup artist consistently and having that partnership has definitely allowed me a lot more freedom and confidence and just peace of mind in my business. And so that's why I love working with it. I see a few of you popped on, so thank you so much, Sabrina and Christy and Finn, for popping on. Finn is another amazing hair and makeup artist, so I'm glad you're here, Finn. But Kara, would you have anything else to add to that?
So basically, I was definitely going to say I run into a lot of photographers that may not, they seem to, I think what can be a challenge with photographers is especially if they haven't gotten to their confidence level where they feel like they should include it. They feel like it's almost pushy instead of understanding that. My biggest tip to a photographer watching this would be you establishing the experience and you establishing what that experience entails actually adds to your credibility. I know that several photographers would say to me, I hate all this editing time that I have. And I'd say, well, then you need to create a package that includes hair and makeup. And they would say, but I don't want to sound too pushy or make them do anything. I have news for you as a reminder, as a client myself, to photographers, I am looking to you for your guidance.
Right.
So it is, if someone has already bought into you and invested in you and chosen you for their vision, then lead them as long as they'll let you lead them. And I find that the more that's handled for them, the more that's handled for me, the better.
Right.
So that would be my tip there in terms of really for photographers to not get that concern out of their mind because really the client, that's what they're looking for.
Right. Definitely. That's so true. We are, well, just like us as photographers, we're the experts in our industry. Our clients coming to us they're not going to really know all the nuances that we know. Same thing with hair and makeup, Kara and her team. And then I'm sure, there's hundreds of thousands of very talented and hair and makeup artists. They are the expert in that industry because they are the ones spending the time and the energy learning all of these. And I don't even know these words like contouring and all of that. Like, I don't know any of that, but those are the ones who know what to do and what looks good on, regardless of the face shape or, what is deep set eyes. I don't know these terms. Right. I just know what looks good on camera, and I can get a great image, but Kara can get that face prepped perfectly. So working with a hair and makeup artist is just amazing. Let's go ahead and dive into our, we have a couple of tips as far as, how to, build this relationship with a hair and makeup artist. I know it's hard to find one. I didn't find Kara until, oh goodness, it was 3-4 years into my photography journey. So it did take time. I did use other ones who were great and wonderful. But Kara, I love you, Kara, and I love the business that you set up. I love you. So let's go ahead and share those tips. Kara, why don't you go ahead and take that first one?
Okay, let's see. So for me, and I'm sure Heather will wrap up a little bit with talking a little more into how our partnership really works, or more of the specifics there. But in terms of, here's my 2 cents on what I find that makes a successful partnership. It's important. I think first and foremost, it's important to make sure that both parties that are responsible for their respective businesses are passionate about their business and operate on the same level, mindset wise. Heather and I can talk about books. We can talk about quality of products. We can talk about quality of cameras. We understand the value of the things that go into making that business run. That's important. For instance, with a hair and makeup artist, if you don't see them talking seriously about their business on a regular basis, or conducting themselves in a business-like manner online, I personally like to do so because I like to keep in touch with clients. I like the seniors that I meet with Heather's program, and I stay in touch with them, and they call us for proms, and they call us for homecomings, and they call us for all sorts of other events that they continue to do that. But it's because they understand, not only have they had that professional experience, but that stays in their mind because they know and see how I conduct or talk about my business on a regular basis. So that's important. Right. I would make sure that there's a lot of respect between those two parties, and your respect between just together. Heather and I are good girlfriends. Firstly, we've gotten to be good friends. We were hanging out with our babies the other day, sitting out on the patio. That's great. Get to know each other, because that's important. Because that gives a lot of insight as to how someone conducts their business. As well as yeah,
sorry, I'm going to interject one point. And I love that point with get to know your hair and makeup artist, or if you're a hair and makeup artist, get to know the photographer on a personal level. Before Kara and I actually even worked together on a professional level, we met up for coffee at a Starbucks, a year and a half ago, and we got to know each other as people, because if I'm going to vouch for her and send her to my clients who are investing in me, she's also a representation of my business and what I do. So I want to make sure whoever I'm sending to my clients, has the same values systems that I do, and does take pride in their work and will be committed to get the job done. So I met with her first on just to get at a coffee shop, just to get to know her a little bit better, get to know her personality, see if we jive well. So there's a lot to be said for just getting
it up forever. It was funny.
Yeah, we were connected from the very start. So it was great. But it just allowed a lot more confidence for now I know how she's when I just met up with her for coffee. So I know how she's going to be in front of my clients, and I like that personal feel to it.
Right. And I think people miss that. Sometimes people are so in business that they don't understand that I always say that 99% of what you do is your business and how you conduct yourself. And 1% really is is the skill that you bring to the table, because people will trust you and then they will tell you everything you need to know. And then that 1%, not to say it's 1% of importance, but it's 1%, it makes it so much easier. It's not a stressful thing anymore. I also would say not only respect for each other as people, but your respective business policies. So for instance, I know the way Heather has contracts. Heather and I both have contracts that are very synergistic. We collect information in the same way. And clients have a set standard level that's set by, in this case, by Heather, that I back up with how I operate my team. She's very responsive with her clients. I'm very responsive with my clients. So they understand that when she has talked to them, they're normally gonna hear from me within 24 to 48 hours from the time I get the information from her. And they know that she and I have already talked based on the dialogue that I have with that client. I also think, like I said, a friendship is very helpful, because you can also use that time together, free time outside of the clients, to develop and come up with other fabulous ideas. So like Heather and I were just together, brainstorming together is key. Because that's how you both grow your businesses, and it's how it can be complementary for each other. We were just, when we were together and we're with our babies, what was awesome is that we were talking about plans for your 2019 program, and we're talking about trips, going places, and I'm like, yes, this is great. And so my brain has just been a moving ever since then. And I always say, most importantly, I'm a big stickler for this, even among my team. Proper credit for people is important. People work hard to invest in their businesses, and the makeup and anything that is in a photo that you post, anyone that contributed to the final result of that photo should be tagged. I believe with weddings, it should be the dress. It should be a venue. It should be the makeup art and hair people. It should be the photographer, all of those people. With seniors, it should be hair and makeup. If any attire was provided by a store, that needs to be credited. People can get very upset about that because they've taken their time to assist you in your business. If you're a photographer, they've taken time to assist you in your business. They need to know that they're respected and what they're doing is appreciated. And so supporting each other is always very important. You and I tag each other in our work steadily. We are each other's biggest cheerleaders. Heather was, she might not sit here and say this, but Heather was just named on the list of top portrait photographer websites in the world. Like, that's awesome. And I'm thinking, like, that's unbelievable. And so how awesome is that to say that I work with someone that's on that list? That's pretty amazing. And so, and she is always one of the first people to like photos or events or exciting things that we're doing as well. So we definitely have that good communication, you know, at all times. Those would be my handful of tips. And
I think what's cool here too is, can you actually mute your computer? Because I hear an echo, I think.
Oh, yes, yes. Let's see.
And then when you start talking again, just unmute it.
Okay.
Or maybe that's on my end. I don't know. Does it sound okay for everybody listening? Okay, that's weird because I hear my echo. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I don't hear an echo.
Oh, so all right. Well, I'm just going to keep going. But, oh gosh, I can't hear. I have to take these out and listen to the microphone. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I can't have those headphones in because I hear an echo and it's going to mess up everything I'm saying. And so hopefully this will work. Anyways, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, no, it was about just being supportive of, you know, the other person. Like I, as a small business owner, I know how much work it takes to put in your own small business and to grow it basically from scratch, especially with a family at home like Kara has. And so I want to, you know, obviously give credit where credit is due, but also just support her in that journey because I know what an up and down road, what a grueling road that can be. And there's something to be said, like when you can support your hair and makeup artist and when your hair and makeup artist can support the photographer, like you both grow together. And that is just huge. And you can do that by, you know, treating each other for, you know, a cup of coffee or just, you know, crediting each other by sharing online or posting images and really listening to the other person's ideas about future things that you might want to do and collaborations and ideas for what you have. So, you know, it's both people feel like it's a safe place where they can be heard and their ideas are shared. And then like together you can go implement on them, which is really great.
Right. Great.
So Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to hear, are there any questions in the chat? Like, do you guys have any questions about working with hair and makeup artists? You know what? Actually, I actually had a question from another photographer who sent me this. Just wanted to share how Kara and I work together. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you a brief overview. But basically, when a client contacts me to be photographed, I share with them the whole, experience and what to expect. I tell them, this is a session fee, and it's complimentary hair and makeup. They get that. A lot of the times they're like, oh wow, that's awesome, and so they love that aspect. So once they book the session and sign the contract, I then send their contact information over to Kara, just their names and emails and a phone number. And then Kara is then in charge of reaching out to them to schedule the logistics of hair and makeup. By this time, like, I've already picked the date. And then Kara takes over and she works with them on a deeper level to figure out, okay, where are we going to start, where we're going to have hair and makeup. I think most of the time she goes to their home. On occasion, they come to her home. She has a makeup studio in her house as well. And it really just depends on, where I am then meeting them for the photo shoot. And then also, like, I pay Kara, the rate that she charges me for that. So like when everything's booked, I PayPal her money, and that's how we take care of it. So my client doesn't have to pay two different people at all. I don't want my client doing any extra work at all. This is one of the benefits of, of choosing these. Like, they can come to me and they can just relax and have fun. They can get pampered, and then money only needs to be exchanged hands once on their end. So it's really great. Cedra, I hope you're watching. If not, maybe you'll catch the replay, because she had so many great questions. But another one I remember was, specific days of photographing when you're scheduling. So I know a company like Kara, where you actually have a team of 15, 30 people, isn't it might not be it might not be everywhere. But if you're in Hampton Roads or in Texas or in Northern Virginia, definitely reach out to her, because she's awesome at that. But if you're in a place that doesn't have a team like that, I would just suggest you work with your hair and makeup artist and just pick out maybe 1 or 2 days a month consistently where you can commit to having photo shoots, and they just can block off their time for, photo shoots with you. And that's kind of like a good way where you're not going to have scheduling conflicts, or, on the other hand, like, you just work with, 2 or 3 makeup artists. So then if one can't do it, you go down the list to the next one and the next one. So if there's any other questions, I would love to hear them.
See one question pop up, and they asked, how do you find one? So I can give a few tips about that. How do you find a proper person to look for? What I tell someone all the time, first, I'd love to expand to Oklahoma, whoever that was, I missed the name. But anyway, that's great. All it takes is me to find someone there to work with and start with. But what I would normally advise is there's a few things to look for, and there's a few things to ask. So number one, what you should be looking for is an easy place for you to find is I would do a search via Wedding Wire. That's my go-to. My team is listed on Wedding Wire and The Knot. Now, granted, it is talking about weddings, but Wedding Wire also owns a branch of their company called Event Wire, which covers proms, quinceañeras, corporate events, all that kind of stuff. But what you can do is search on Wedding Wire in your zip code or in your region, and try to find and get the names of the people that people and or teams or partnerships or whatever that have the most reviews. Okay, that's a quick way to start, because the credibility has already been built. It's already established there. You can usually see throughout. I always say you can always tell a lot about the personalities of the team from the reviews, or of the artists from the reviews. You'll either see someone say, every review say I had so much fun, or I felt really relaxed, or whatever. And that way you can find a person or persons that provide the same vibe that you would like to provide. So I would say check on Wedding Wire, do a search, local hair and makeup artists on Wedding Wire. Just go to weddingwire.com, put in the zip code, and search for artists that way, and that's a quick way to start. Usually also with weddings, if they've done weddings and events, that means they've normally been published somewhere, somehow. They have good material to work with. You already have a lot of data to go on. The reviews, the work, recommendations. It also shows on there their frame of network. So like on our Wedding Wire, we're
Hey, Kara. I actually can't hear you at all. Can other people hear you? Or is it just me? I think we're having internet issues because I can't hear a thing now. If you guys are watching this, can you let me know if you can hear me? Okay, Logan, you can't hear. Christy, you can't hear. Oh goodness, I think it's internet. I love your face, Kara. Is your internet working well? Because you were kind of like going in and out a little bit, and then I can't hear any sounds now. Okay, and Janessa, you just lost the sound too. Darn, what you were saying was so important. You know what? Okay, I'm glad you guys can hear me. And nobody can hear Kara is what I'm gathering, right? So, Kara, you want to maybe try, you don't have a headset. I don't know really what to do. Internet's good. You know what? Let's try. I'm going to go ahead and end this live, and I'm going to just go live right again, and hopefully a new live will work. So if you're watching this, go ahead and, well, I'll be right back, okay? I'm going to end this one, and we'll try one more time. If it doesn't work, well, one, thank you guys for hanging out. If you have any questions that we weren't able to get to, go ahead and write them in the comment section. Both Kara and I can come back through and answer those questions if the second live doesn't work. Hang tight. I will hope to be right back, okay? Bye, guys. Hey guys, we are back for take number 2 of how to build a successful relationship with a hair and makeup artist. We just did a live. We're running into a little bit of internet issues, and Kara's voice completely went silent. So there's going to be 2 lives on this topic. So if you're joining in on this one, welcome. Thank you for watching this one. Definitely go back after this video is done so you can see the first one. But anyways, Kara was talking about how to actually find a good hair and makeup artist if you don't work with anybody yet. So Kara, I'm going to let you go ahead and take over and do that again.
Okay, so basically what we had gotten a great question on, how do you find proper artists to work with? Whether that be an individual that works full-time, maybe in a partnership, or maybe as a part of a team. Best bet that I would say, what I always recommend for people is to search Wedding Wire. Wedding Wire is an online portal where all sorts of different vendors that are involved with larger events like weddings can be listed, collect reviews, and show an online network of people that they're affiliated with. Also, as well as they can also have endorsements provided for them on there. So I always say use Wedding Wire because most people do not know that Wedding Wire also owns a company called Event Wire. So Event Wire covers proms, quinceañeras, corporate events, graduations, all sorts of other events like that where you might have hair or makeup done. And I always say that Wedding Wire provides a great snapshot of how someone conducts their business because you see reviews from clients. You can get an overview through the clients of the consistent messaging that runs through those reviews. I would say go to weddingwire.com and search hair and makeup, or I think the category is beauty, and by a zip code. You can search by a zip code. What you can do is type in that and then look for the people that have the most reviews or are what they call Wedding Wire award winners, because that means that they have been nominated and given an award based on their client experience from their clients. So that's important. I always say when I get emails from people for events like weddings, I read through, I always get the same message. I read through all your reviews and you guys sound like you're so much fun. They feel like they know us already, which is great because they're getting, Tria was so much fun. Finn is so sweet. Larissa is just amazing at skin. And they can get a real glimpse as to not only you and your personality, but your skill level, your personal skill level, people skill level, things like that. It also provides endorsements. Endorsements are there from other companies. So it tells what other business owners think about that company and how they operate. So there's one on there I'll never forget. Kara set up clients for me after she had been in a car accident. I didn't even know it until 2 days later. I know Heather's totally not shocked by this. I'm connected to the computer or phone at all times. Yeah. And so people see that, and every once in a while, someone will have read that. And they'll laugh and say, oh my gosh, you sound like you're completely reliable, like the sun rising and setting.
Yeah.
It also shows an affiliation and network. So it shows that they, that I do know a lot of people. So that's very helpful using that resource. It's already there. Use it to help you vet who you want to be working with to create that experience, your experience for your business. So that's where I would say, and then follow those people on all their social media. See if they're active. If they're active, that means that they're going to talk about you when they work with you.
Right.
And that's great, because that way you know that you're getting extra breadth to your business and the activities that you're doing. Right. Questions to ask, I would ask, number one is whether or not they do this full time or not. If they do makeup and hair full time, then you'll obviously have a better idea in terms of scheduling or not.
Right.
I would make sure and get those things out of the way right off the bat in terms of what someone schedules and what their expectations are in terms of work. Because, for instance, if someone does weddings, that's great. They're busy on weekends. So they should have availability if they do full-time or have any part-time kind of work where they would have the availability on the weekdays. That will help you know how to schedule. So scheduling is important. Number two, do you have contracts? If you do, then please share them. So then that way you understand each other's policies. Do they understand, do they treat no-shows the same way you do? And vice versa, that kind of thing. You don't run into that very often, but it is a good question to ask. Find out how many of them are there. Is it a solo artist, independent? Do they have a partner? If you contact someone that does makeup and they do fabulous work, do they have someone immediately to refer you to that can bring with hair all the time? It helps shore that up. And really, I would ask what's in their kit. Ask what's in their kit, because you want to make sure there's a lot of Instagram art and people like out there, and certain products provide a certain result. And if you're not going for the Instagram look, you're going for a nice, timeless, crisp, colorful vision to your photography, you don't want someone who's going to be who's unaware of what's in their products and unaware of how those things translate via camera. And sometimes cheaper brands can do that. So I would always make sure that their cosmetics are HD ready. Yeah.
Yes. Another thing to add, and I still hear an echo. This is a really difficult
technical difficulties today.
I'm going to try and do this without that. So another thing to add to that, one of the things that I love working with Kara is that she is also she can teach about how to take care of skin too. And so since I work with seniors, they are already going through that typical senior hormonal stage and their face is breaking out. And I have a lot of them that freak out, and they really haven't yet been educated on how to properly take care of their face day in and day out. And Kara is knowledgeable enough to teach them that. And I think that's actually really cool, because, here they think they're getting hair and makeup, which is great, but then she can bring all this other wealth of knowledge. Like, okay, when I am not here, you can do this in the morning, you can do this at night. Here are the products that you might consider that would be good for, an oily combination type skin type. So then, even when Kara is not there, they can still be, educated and empowered to make the best decisions for their skin, so they can have clear skin, even on not picture days. So that's actually really cool too.
And again, that's another thing where I talked about earlier, some people's apprehension about broaching topics like that. I always say that if someone has invested in your business, you lead them as long as they'll let you lead them, because they are looking to you for guidance based on something they've seen in you already. So make sure and have that confidence there to want to educate them. I even have artists that I have to work with sometimes in training them that it's okay to recommend certain things to those clients, because that is what they're looking for. They hired and wanted hair and makeup as a part of the experience because they do not know what they are doing. Right. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Awesome. So hopefully that answered the question. Since we had to do a new Facebook Live, I know that came from the girl from Oklahoma, right? Or yes. And I didn't catch her name, but if you're still watching, I hope that answered. If there's any other questions, feel free to pop them in. And again, I'm sorry for the technology issue. I can't control that, but we're just rolling with the punches. If you're just catching this live, there is a first part to it. Where, I introduced Kara as she's my professional hair and makeup artist, and she graciously shared, tips for, how to actually build that relationship with your very own hair and makeup artist. And basically it boils down to respecting each other, having very similar business policies, and passionate about your business. And then just also, you know, supporting that person as a friend, and then also as a business owner. And that involves, you know, sharing the images and properly crediting, and, you know, like giving shout outs and all of that. So that it basically boils down what we talked about. Kara, anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think that pretty well sums it up. But what I can also do, since we did have the technical difficulties today, is I can work on making that kind of like a little PowerPoint or some sort of document where you can share in the group.
Awesome.
And that way people would be able to have that as a reference. So that way they can have wedding wire, they have the websites to go to and where to look and what to look for. I can do all of that.
Kara, I love you. So basically, if you're a photographer and you're watching this on my business page, what Kara just referenced is my photography specific group. So that is actually called the Aspiring Photographer. I can put a link in the comment section, or you can just use a search bar where it just says, you search for the Aspiring Photographer's Journey. If you're a photographer, new or seasoned, you are welcome in that group. We talk about all things business and marketing and pricing and all of that. You're more than welcome to join. I'd love to have you there. And Kara, I will definitely pass on any information as far as like the tips on how to find a good artist. So Kara, thank you so much for offering to do that. Here she is adding more value. She didn't even plan to do that. So I will definitely share that in there. So go ahead and join that if you're not already in there. I don't see any other questions. So Kara, I just like to thank you again for your time and your knowledge and just sharing sharing everything that you did. I hope you know, you guys like this. Thank you so much for watching. If you're catching the replay, don't forget there's 2 of them. So definitely watch 2 so you can get the whole scope. And you're more than welcome to join that Aspiring Photographer Journey Facebook group. I'd love to have you in there. And also, if you're in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, Northern Virginia, or Texas area, definitely reach out to Kara. I'll go ahead and tag her on these posts too, so you guys can just message her right on Facebook.
Happy.
And, you know, if you're wanting her to open up another section of her business in your area, let her know that too, because she is like a business genius. And I know if she has a person, she will make it work. She does not give up. And I love her commitment and dedication. So she's definitely the person.
You know what's funny is I actually am putting together a website where I can help educate people on how to build beauty teams. So that's a little side project that I'm working on in all my free time, you know.
Yes, you know, running your own business and raising babies, because that leaves so much free time. Well, anyways, thank you so much for everyone who joined. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your day. And thank you again, Kara, for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.